Just a month after announcing the NHR tax regime cancellation, the Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Costa had his house raided by Portuguese police for suspicion of corruption. Then, less than a couple hours later, he resigned. This had an even larger ripple when a week later, Portugal's president dissolved the parliament and called for an early election. Could this delay the non-habitual tax regime, giving retirees, digital nomads, and foreign investors more time to make it into Portugal? Let's talk about that. I mean, this is crazy. Less than 2 years of living in Portugal, and this happens. I couldn't make this stuff up, folks. Less than a month ago, I put out a video about the NHR tax breaks ending and what that could look like for the future of retirees, digital nomads, and startups coming to Portugal. It received a massive amount of criticism in the comments, which I'm guessing is due to the clickbait nature of the title, where I said the Portugal dream is over, and in the thumbnail asked the question if I was going back to America. However, for anyone that actually watched the video, they saw that I only criticized some of the corrupt politicians who seem to think it's more important to sell their country to large corporations than the commonwealth of the Portuguese people. In the video, I mentioned how the Portuguese state allowed sales of entire city blocks to foreign corporations from Spain, Germany, and China, just to name a few. Ironically, not even a month later, the Prime Minister, who delivered the news of the NHR cancellation and claimed that it was an unjust way to inflate the housing market, has now resigned under a corruption scandal himself. Now, Antonio Costa has said he is innocent and is confident that the justice system will do its job. But his chief of staff and one of his best friends, along with 2 others, have been detained. And as they say, where there is smoke, there is usually fire. But one thing that I respect is that Antonio Costa stepped down within 2 hours of coming out. Probably the time it took him to have a coffee and drive to Belém in Lisbon traffic. That would never happen in the United States. Just look at the Bill Clinton-Monica Lewinsky fiasco and what's going on with Donald Trump right now. The allegations are regarding an upcoming lithium mine in the north of the country, and the alleged crimes currently include active and passive corruption of office holders, as well as political influence peddling. You see, the European Union is putting a lot of funding into renewable energy, and the lithium mine project has received multi-millions in funding from the EU. But it would appear that some of this money has ended up in the pockets of some of the parties currently being investigated. Thanks to the sponsor of today's video, MyHeritage, I decided to send my mom a MyHeritage DNA test for the holidays.
Oh wow, it's MyHeritage. Thank you. Okay, it says to swab for 30 to 60 seconds. That should be good. Place it in there, break it off at the black line, and put the lid on.
Then you mail it to the lab at MyHeritage and wait for your results.
Hey Dave, I received my heritage results today. I was so surprised to see that I am part Scandinavian and part Sardinian. Wow, I learned so much more about my family's history. Thank you so much for getting me my heritage. I'm also looking forward to connecting with more relatives.
MyHeritage is having a Black Friday sale and offering their lowest price ever at only $33. Click the link in the description below and use the coupon code DAVEDNA to get free shipping today. But in Portugal, this isn't really anything new. According to an article by Portugal Resident, over 93% of citizens believe that corruption in Portugal is common practice. But Antonio Costa was looked at by a majority in Portugal as a safe pair of hands, and he was even one of the contenders for the European Council president. Economically, the Costa-led era in Portugal contributed to monumental growth on the economy, going from one of the lowest in the EU, now above the EU average. But the timing of this whole debacle couldn't have been worse. In a recent article published by Portugalist, they said, with the government's collapse, the proposed state budget has been rendered invalid. While a new government could submit a fresh proposal to end the NHR tax regime, it would need a clear majority and, more importantly, a similar desire to even end the NHR regime. And Portugal is also currently in a transition from the state-run immigration services SEF to the AIMA. So there is a lot going on in Portugal right now, and I am trying my best to educate myself and keep up to date with everything, which I will let all of you guys know. Let me know in the comments below what you think about all this. I'd love to get opinions about this here in Portugal and all over the world. If you want to see more content about living in Portugal, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, because I'll be posting videos like this every single week on this channel. This is some guy named Dave in Portugal, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Hit it!